K1 sparring team, week 3 coming right up. I'm excited for another good sweat-a-thon for all of us. So let's just recap where we at. Week 1, movement, linear movement. Week 2, more importantly, lateral movement. Again, movement is not going to win you tournaments. Movement might save you a couple of points. Right? Ultimately, the aggressor in point fighting tends to win all matches. So it's a matter of using our movement to take that person out of their aggressive areas and to allow us to become in that offensive-minded thing so we can score our techniques. And so movement's gonna help us get out of trouble as well as maybe confuse the opponent to do it. So now it's time. We need to become offensive, right? And so this is now the first week where we're going to be throwing a lot more offensive techniques. We will always be working on our movement because, again, it might save us. It might allow us to win tournaments. So we'll be focusing on an agility, of course, and the movement that takes place, of course, during that time. So our drills, fast feet, in and out, fast feet. This time we're going to do fast feet in our fighting stances, right? And we're basically going to be bouncing and we're going to be popping that front foot in and out. In and out, in and out. Now, it's going to be great. This is a great technique. It's going to help you. A, we're going to create that agility. B, this in and out motion is going to help confuse the opponent from the standpoint of being offensive, right? So it's a beautiful way to constantly be feigning and faking because it's not hard to throw stuff off of it. Now, we're not going to sit there. You're not going to be in a match be doing this all the time, but it's a good feel for you to understand that, hey, when I'm in this, and I just want to pop that forward, pop, right, pop. And then I can be moving around. It's doing those types of things to help it out. Then we're going to go fast feet into a lead leg chamber. So we're going to be bouncing, fast feet, right? And then when I blow the whistle, boom, we're going to hold into our universal chamber, right? And we're basically trying to make sure that our body positions are good and things like that. So again, agility to get the blood flowing, doing that stuff. And then fast feet into a blitz launch, right? Fast feet, on the whistle, bah, right? Move it back, get back in position. Fast feet, whistle, and blitz, right? Standard stretch. We're going to definitely do standard stretch. We're going to add this time, we're going to add some leg swings and calves, right? We're going to replace out the Cossacks from last week and add some leg swings. The leg swing is just simple, like think wheel kicks on leg swings, right? We're just loosening up those hip flexors and doing some of that stuff because we are going to be hitting those hip flexors, hitting those hips when we get into the forge part of the class. So then we get into the lab. Once we get into the lab, we're going to focus on a couple things. Number one, we're going to focus on explosive transitions. That's the theme of the week. Explosive transitions. It's the ability to go from deceleration to acceleration to back down to deceleration, because as we change our tempo, you will notice that your opponent will also change their tempo, right? So if you ever watch me when I'm sparring, sometimes I'll get real busy, and then I'll slow down, right? And I kind of almost sloth mode it a little bit, and watch what happens to the opponent if you do that in a match. They sometimes will also like, oh, it's break time. And the moment I see that, right, here comes the blitz. And it's a beautiful thing because they're thinking it's break time because they're reacting to your body. So we're going to deal with some of that stuff. We're also going to do a lead leg flick, right? We're going to use the round kick as our lead leg flick. The goal of that flick is obviously our body is going to stay in a good position. We're not dipping. We're not trying to go to the head. Typically, my flick, I love a flick right at the belt. I aim for that belt knot. Oftentimes people aren't defending there. We're just gonna get a little flick, right? So we'll be moving, we'll be light feet. When I blow the whistle, boom, you're gonna flick. And it's kind of leading off of that warm up where we did that lead leg freeze. Now we're gonna lead leg flick, right? And keep that body in a good solid position that's doing it. We're also gonna utilize some pads, and we'll bring the pads into play to help utilize that lead leg flick. Because I might not be doing it on the whistle. I might do it when the opponent shows the pad. That might be better. And so it's going to be important to do that. Then we're going to get into some resistance band where we're going to do some blitzes while you're being held back with some resistance bands. That's great. Some people in the class this week might be wearing a new tool. I want to try it We'll see what it's like. Basically, it's going to be elastic that comes down to your waist. You'll wear a belt that connects to your wrists and your ankles that provides resistance bands as well for those that want that extra resistance to help increase their speed during the exercise. And then, part I'm super excited about, finally, we're going to do some point fighting. And we're going to do very critiqued point fighting. So we're going to call points. We're going to do it like a tournament, but then we're going to stop and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what we did good. We're going to talk about what we did bad. We're going to talk about where we need to go, utilizing our strengths, our temperaments, talents, and convictions, which obviously is different for everybody in the team. We all have different skill sets. We all want to do different things. We all are comfortable doing different things. Sometimes we shouldn't be doing what we're comfortable with, but we'll talk about all that stuff too. So we're going to look at it, and it's probably we're going to take the most amount of time. So I'm going to try to fly through the beginning so we can really get to that part, because I would like for the next 2 weeks to really be focused on a lot of point fighting. So I will be missing a few weeks in August, and we'll be focusing on some of those point fightings during that time. Then we're going to get into our strength training. And our strength training is an explosive-based circuit, right? We're going to do resistance bands on our fronts. We're going to be working those hip flexors with resistance bands. We're going to use hip resistance bands, right? So they'll be connected to our ankles, and we're going to be resisting out here, right? If I want to kick high side kicks, these muscles and our supporting glutes need to be very, very good and very, very strong. If we're doing front kicks, obviously we need those hip flexors and round kicks, especially because we're doing a lot of modified round kicks, but they kind of look and feel like front kicks. We're going to be working on those. And we'll do a little monster walks around the room where we're in almost like a horsey stance with bands on our knees, and we're gonna walk kind of in and out to kind of work that type of a deal. And then we're doing explosive push-ups. They're actually not going to be as hard. I don't believe it's going to be a little bit more muscular, but I don't believe that it's going to be that hard. And then, of course, our reflection life lesson number 3, which is when you focus on problems, you will have more problems. When you focus on possibilities, you will have more opportunities. So we're going to have a positive attitude and a positive mind. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll reflect on that, and we will be ready to go into week 4. We'll see.